Hi, my name is Robert Shahan. I'm the author-developer of GraphPad. GraphPad, unlike other design applications, is a multi-page application, much like a pad of graph paper. Today we're going to use that multi-page feature, much like a slideshow presentation, in order to display all the capabilities of GraphPad. The first feature I'd like to go into is sketching. All you have to do to sketch is to switch to sketch mode and swipe your finger across. GraphPad will automatically straighten lines. The limitation of this is that it creates coincident points. A better way of doing it now is to use the point drag feature of GraphPad. We can go into line mode, select a point, and drag it. We'll notice a couple of things happening now. First, we'll see magenta guidelines, which will help us line things up. They snap to those lines. Also, we'll notice that it snaps to the grid size. In terms of length, it also snaps based upon angle. So as we move our finger across, it snaps to 15-degree increments and line lengths. This makes it quite easy to create very accurate geometries. We can also select two different points, just as we did here. In arcs mode, we have two ways of creating an arc. One is we can select the vertices of two lines. The other is to select a point in space. We can adjust a circle by selecting the circle and dragging our finger to increase the radius. Or we can select the endpoints of the arcs and we can actually rotate, in which case the endpoint will rotate with snap, much like we had with our lines. In this case, it's snapping to 15 degrees. We can change that by going to our settings and turning it off, or changing the degrees that it snaps to. One of the key features that we need to explain, it's very easy but not intuitive, is to delete any object. We double tap. So for example, we have an arc and we want to create a smooth connection to that arc. We can delete the line by going to lines mode, double tapping, and then recreating between the 2 points. We can do this in each mode. So for example, if we want to delete an arc, we can double tap on it. We'll put the arc back by using our undo button. We can delete the circle by double tapping. To delete text, go to text mode and double tap. To delete arrows, we go to, in this case we'll do the dimension, this is a dimension. We can delete by double tapping. To create dimensions, we go to dimensions mode. By default, it's in automatic. And these are the types of dimensions. We have angles, lines, point to point, point to line, and radius. To create a dimension between a point and a line, select the point, select the line, creates a dimension. Select the point, select the line. You'll notice that the dimension is appropriate. It's perpendicular to the line it's connecting to. 2 points, select 2 points. This is more difficult when you have a vertice, so we actually would have to switch modes. Point to point, select 2 points. To create an angle, dimension, select, see we're in point mode. Select the point. To create a radius, just select on the arc. Say, for example, we had an arc here. We would just select that arc. Oops, sorry. The dimensions move with the geometry. So if we grab this portion of the geometry and move it around, we'll notice all our dimensions are adjusting accordingly. Similarly, if we grab these arcs, we would notice that our dimensions would move along with it. We have the ability to adjust a line, go to line mode, select the line and hold. Now we can actually change the length, change the type, change the width, change the color. We could do multiple lines by selecting the lines, press and hold, change the color, change the type, change the width. Copy paste, go to lines mode, create a selection area by dragging our finger across the screen, press and hold inside that area. Do a copy, clear the area by selecting outside of it, press and hold on a point in the screen, and paste. Of course, you can also move geometry by selecting an area and then dragging. Groups work very similarly. All we have to do is select our area. Actually, first we'll create an arc in the center. Put a dimension on that arc. Create our selection area. Press and hold in the selection area. Group. We can now rotate. Notice that it rotates in 15-degree increments. We can also translate, either by using the point or by selecting it. However, we cannot change the geometry. Also, groups maintain scale. So we'll notice that this is 4 feet. If we change our scale, it will continue to be 4 feet. So 4 feet is now this length here. Text is very easy. We need to just select the area that we want our text to be in. Type in our text. We can accept returns. We can accept tabs. To clear the screen, we press on the keyboard character. To delete text, we just double click on the handle. And lastly, arrows work pretty much the same way. We have 2 handles. We can drag, we can reposition, or we can translate the whole thing, and we can delete by double clicking. And that's GraphPad. Thank you very much.